We have an update on the Cash Wheeler assault charges, plus a legendary WWE name appears on Raw, and future world title plans have been revealed. It's all in the Cultaholic wrestling news right now. So you may remember just before All In at Wembley last year, there were some question marks over FTR being involved. That was due to Cash Wheeler being arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm, following what the prosecution called a road rage incident in which Wheeler allegedly flashed a gun. Now, Wheeler has pleaded not guilty throughout this process, but Ross, it looks like it's all settled now.
Yeah, this comes to us from PW Insider, who has said next week's scheduled trial against Daniel Cash Wheeler will not go forward. This afternoon, the prosecutor's office filed Noel Prosqui.
That's a wonderful go.
The Latin phrase used in court records is a legal notice that the prosecution in a legal case has opted to drop and abandon the case. There is no word as to why the prosecutors made that decision or why it took them until the week before the trial to drop prosecution.
Noel Prosecchi? Which
sounds like a lovely drink.
Which is nice. Not to be it does, doesn't it? I love that. Not to be confused with Noel Edmonds, which means you start a house party.
Or Noel Follet, which means you ruin Adam Paciuti's life.
There is that as well. So as of this morning, there was a pre-trial hearing set for tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock and a trial slated for the 20th of May. Now, all of that has been cancelled. Wheeler's bond has been released and the case was officially closed at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And Daniel Cash Wheeler will never have to worry about that whole thing ever again.
Yeah, all he's got to deal with now is the Young Bucks.
Just the Young Bucks to worry about now, my friend. Just the Young Bucks to worry about. Raw last night gave us a little flavour of what the world title pitch is going to look like over the next couple of months.
Yeah, so Drew McIntyre was out there speaking about who else but CM Punk before Jey Uso and things other happened there with things, and Damian Priest came down and basically said, "Oh, your wife. Oh, CM Punk. Oh, you're too bloody concerned with them instead of this thing right here, aren't you, pal?"
I wish he just said, "Oh, your wife."
Drew would have lost his bananas at that sentence anyway. But basically, it looks like down the line at some point when Drew McIntyre is fit and healthy too, we're going to get a world title match between Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest.
I really enjoyed the way they got to it because as well as, "Oh, your wife," Damian Priest said, "Hey, I wanted to cash this in on Seth Rollins so many times, but you kept stopping me. So because you're more concerned about CM Punk than your own wife and your title, I decided to do it there and then." But Damian Priest, being a good egg, said, "Tell you what, when your elbow's healed, you've got it. You've got a world championship match with me," which it looks as if Drew's recovery is going to be all done and dusted, all being well, in time for Clash at the Castle.
Ooh.
So one can salivate over such things.
Or one can get themselves hyped up for a big win and then be ultimately disappointed with what you get with the karaoke at the end of the card.
I have this feeling in my water that they're going to do the most hilarious thing and have CM Punk cost Drew in Scotland.
It would be good.
Yeah.
There would be riots.
Good luck getting out of Scotland. Gonna get out of Glasgow on that particular night. I'm down for that, all jokes aside. I think Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Clash at the Castle in Glasgow. I feel like the location really makes that extra special.
Yeah, obviously with the crowd being fully pro Drew McIntyre, I would assume on the night, despite the fact he's one of the best heels in wrestling today, no matter how entertaining his social media game may be. It would be very nice. That's all I've got to say about that. It would be very nice, but also the crowd played a very interesting part as well.
Very much so. Also, future plans for the World Tag Team titles revolving around two other members of the Judgment Day in JD McDonough and Finn Balor.
Yeah, they became the #1 contenders when they beat the new Catch Republic, who you know it's them because it says their thing at the start of their theme, doesn't it? The Creed brothers and the Authors of Pain with help from Carlito as well. Carlito got a little nod of approval from Damian Priest last night as well. Because Damian's been a bit like, "You're not filling me in on this little plan here, Dom, with your pal Carlito." But then Carlito helped the JD last night, and then Damian was like, "Well, that's cool. Oh yes, Carlito, that was cool."
Your friend. I quite like Dominic Mysterio being sort of the back door into the Judgment Day for Carlito. But I don't know why Carlito doesn't just do what R-Truth did and just make a series of videos saying that you've been in the group the whole time.
Yeah.
And just to the point where everyone goes, "Oh, I guess he was. What was I thinking?" But I like this. I like Carlito trying to angle his way in, and it obviously led to Balor and McDonough becoming top contenders contenders for the Miz and R-Truth's World Tag Titles. No date set for that match. It could happen as soon as King and Queen of the Ring at the end of the month in Saudi Arabia. I reckon that's probably a nice place to do it.
Yeah.
Not been confirmed yet, though.
You'd imagine so. Got to flesh that card out a bit. I doubt we're going to get a 5-match card for the King and Queen of the Ring.
No, but we are getting close to a King and Queen of the Ring final. Semi-finals for the Raw brackets will take place next week as a result of beating Ilya Dragunov.
Oh!
Yeah, that one smarted a bit.
Oh! In all seriousness, I can see why. I can see why it happened. I was shocked it was clean, Jey Uso's win over Ilya Dragunov. But, and I know the argument could be there saying, oh, they did Chad Gable versus Gunter on Raw, on Just a Raw, and people are still talking about that match now. But I can see why maybe Triple H wouldn't want to do Ilya versus Gunter on Just a Raw. I can see that argument.
Yeah, I think had the stars aligned and it be a King of the Ring final, which it was never going to be because obviously Ilya Dragunov and Gunter are on the same side of the bracketology, so they're not going to meet in the final. But I guess they're going to hold off on that for another day, which is fine. But we're going to get Jey Uso and Gunter running it back in the semi-final of the King of the Ring. And then for the Queen of the Ring, Io Sky, who beat Shayna Baszler, is going to face Lyra Valkyria, who beat Zoe Stark in the semi-finals of the women's bracket on Raw.
Yes, and the winners will face their respective counterparts from SmackDown in the future.
And that'll be the King and Queen of the Ring. I thought we might have had more tournament brackets at the pay-per-view. Am I the only one that enjoys a pay-per-view tournament?
It's been a while since we had, like, do you remember King of the Ring, how it was back in the day where you would have a semi-final and a final? 2 semi-finals and a final on the main card itself. 02 was a great event. It was fine.
We'll be watching it in a couple of weeks on the Cultaholic Classic SmackDown review, so you can tell us then. But I remember when the whole show was the tournament, and with varying results, it gave us an Owen Hart 1-2-3 kid match, one King of the Ring pay-per-view in the early rounds that was just like less than 10 minutes, but brilliant. And if we're just getting the finals, it is what it is. Let's not complain about it. Either way, we're getting a King and Queen of the Ring crowned at King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia.
And isn't the crown bloody lovely?
Yeah.
See the crown? Ooh.
It's a lovely crown.
I only hope they just don't make them an actual king and queen and gimmick. It never goes well, does it?
It doesn't go. There's only some people that can pull that off well, and it's a very short list.
We would not be sat here speaking about the WWE if Stone Cold, if they made him in '96 become King Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Would have been hilarious. Hilarious. Hey, from putting on a crown, I think we saw a torch get passed last night.
Yes, Samantha Irvin has got the Olympic torch from one Lillian Garcia, who made a shoot-shock appearance on last night's Raw to say some words with her mouth.
She did indeed. Samantha Irvin welcomed Lillian Garcia into the ring and asked if she could help her introduce the next match, to which Lillian Garcia went, I'd love to, and she heaped praise on Samantha Irvin, saying, you're doing an incredible job, and I'm so proud of you. They had a lovely hug in the ring. It did feel like a little nod from the past to the star of today.
Yeah, Howard Finkel looking down from above, just shouting, no! Good ring announcer.
And the new good ring announcer of the wrestling, Lillian Garcia. If a whole generation doesn't know, she was a ring announcer pretty consistently between like August 99 and August 2016, mainly on Raw, a little bit on SmackDown. She also sang Tori Wilson's theme music.
And America the Beautiful on several occasions.
Many times she would bang out the anthem for people in the audience. She also, including in part of her litany of highlights from her time within the company, she got put in a figure four by Jeff Jarrett. She got knocked off the apron by Charlie Haas. And she fell in love with Viscera, the world's largest love machine. It is quite the career that Lillian Garcia has had. Is she in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, big time.
That's
got to be. Just in terms of longevity. You don't stay around for that long if you're not doing something right, surely.
But I enjoyed that. There was a really heartwarming moment in sometimes a world that can be very cold and bleak. It was a very heartwarming moment as Lillian Garcia kind of passed the torch to Samantha Irvin.
I know it's not gentlemanly like to say a lady's age on camera in the public, but she's 87 years old. And look at her. 87. What's your skin routine, Lillian? It's unbelievable scenes.
I want to talk more about how Howard Finkel, I think when WrestleMania 1, he was the same age as Samantha Irvin is now. So put up a picture of Howard Finkel in his mid-30s. That's it. Now, I love Howard Finkel, voice of a generation. I ain't an oil painting, I admit, but that's a tough paper round.
Hey, there's something to be said about the skullet. We need to bring the skullet back in 2024. Not enough people are as brave as Howard Finkel is there with that haircut.
Calling occupants of interplanetary skullets, we'd like to hear from you today. For the latest wrestling news throughout the day, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you, Skullet.
Your wife.